Hi, welcome to Paso KIDS-N-CO. My name is Eli Moreno, and I will be talking to Austin Savage, the director of our next show, Aria da Capo and the Flying Doctor. Later, I will be talking to Jim Lupercio and Paige Hale, the director and writer of the next show, Alice in Neverland. Hi, Austin.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what is it that made you want to be around theater?
Actually, I was a freshman in college, and a friend of mine, her English was not so strong, and she wanted to take an acting class, and I needed to take an art course. And she was, like I said, a good friend with mediocre English skills, so I thought I could sit in on the class with her, and I took the class, and I enjoyed it. So it was literally by accident. I had no intention of doing theater with my life. I was playing baseball and good at math.
So now that you want to be around theater, what is it that you would want to do more?
Wow.
Between, acting, directing.
Which discipline? Wow. I started out acting. I wrote a lot in high school. I was able to, I guess, transition relatively easily into theater because I had written a lot of short stories, poems, things of that nature. I was into creative writing. And then I started getting work as an actor kind of accidentally. I literally got my first part in a show because the costume happened to fit me and an actor dropped out, and so I learned all 4 of his lines, and 2 of them were in Swedish. I still remember them to this day. And I said his 4 lines. I got to improv some stuff during intermission, and I ended up winning an acting award. And then I went to this contest, and I did very well there. And all of a sudden, I thought it was real easy. I was like, wow, it's my first time, and I did great. No big deal. And then I started pursuing it more and discovered how hard it was. But I ended up directing a lot, and directing is actually where I've made. I've gotten to travel the country, and I've met some amazing artists. Made some great friends and some writers who have won Obie Awards. A friend of mine is nominated for a Pulitzer. Another guy just created a TV show called Orange is the New Black. So I got friends who are doing real well for themselves, and that actually came as a result of directing. So.
And how did you get involved with KIDS-N-CO?
When I guess my very first involvement when I was in first grade. I was 6 years old. It's a long time ago. I don't quite want to say how long ago it was, but I came and auditioned for KIDS-N-CO, and I didn't get the part, unfortunately. But over the years, I've known a lot of people involved in KIDS-N-CO, and through my associations with UTEP and the El Paso Community Theater at large. And as far as this show in particular, I was actually contacted about performing in the show, and then the circumstances changed. I hadn't allotted time to direct another show, but once I met the cast and saw how dedicated they were, I respected that a lot. So I figured, I have these abilities and they're in need, and the least I can do is use them. I'm very passionate about theater, and the least, I should be there to support other people who are passionate. And in these dire circumstances, the cast and KIDS-N-CO was still extremely passionate about continuing on with the show, and that's something I respect. I do run into, I do make a living out of this. But it can't always be about the money, and I think sometimes people forget why you begin in the first place and why it's important to continue. And this show in particular, especially again the cast, reminded me of that, so I appreciate that. Actually, it's been a great experience.
Well, I'm in the show, and you said that you've been traveling around since you are a director. And how do you think we are compared to other places that you've been in circumstances of acting and?
You know what? There's some things that are massively different. You know, I worked at Goodman Theater in Chicago, which is probably the biggest theater in America. I don't mean in size, but I mean whatever. Their prestige is pretty high, and I saw some productions that just blew my mind. And there were casts and directors, you know, Thomas Hardy and Philip Seymour Hoffman, these big time people who were there when I was working, and they're mind blowing. And then I was lucky enough to go to Irvine and DC, and again work with a lot of very talented and see a lot of very amazing people. And the interesting thing is their budgets may have changed, their environment may have changed, their processes are varied and all. But I think one thing that KIDS-N-CO had that all of them have in common, I think, again, it harps back to what I was talking about, is everyone involved is very passionate about the show. And it is really about just the show and you know, what is the best possible way we can tell this story. And I think the second thing too is I'm very impressed with this, because a lot of the people I've seen or worked with are older and, you know, more experienced, better educated or whatever. But in no way does that. But this cast, you know, this KIDS-N-CO cast in these productions are extremely intelligent and very smart. And, you know, once we were able to sit down and discuss what this show was about, these shows, how they worked and how we could tie them all together, the cast was yourself included, smart enough and brave enough. Courage is a big thing. To jump right in. And I you know, as far as venue is concerned or budget or things of that nature, that is beyond the performer's control. You know, you can't control anything about that, but what you can control is the performance. And the two things that I admire, I'll say three things actually, the things that I admire most in a performer, you know, are passion, intelligence, and adaptability. And everyone here at KIDS-N-CO has shown that ability, you know, those three traits. And those will transfer to any venue, anywhere in the country. And I think that's admirable. And I think if that's something that you are learning here at KIDS-N-CO, then that's a direction that you all should continue going in. Cool.
So you'd be willing to come back and help us out again on another show?
Yeah, you know.
So would you say that you would be willing to come back and direct again?
You know, I'm willing to help. I'm always willing to help. And I have my own theater company. I do run the Border Theater. I guest direct at UTEP occasionally, and I'm starting to look out towards other cities once more, kind of getting the itch to start moving around again. But I'm a big believer in the arts community of El Paso. It's one of the reasons why I'm here. It's one of the reasons why I started my company. And if there's any opportunity to assist KIDS-N-CO, you know, within my limits, then I would be more than glad. I enjoyed my experience here. You know, yeah. In fact, in a lot of ways, despite its brevity, it's been very impactful for me. You know, it was a good thing that it came along for me, I think, at a certain point in time. So I got to thank the cast and the company for thinking about me.
Can you tell us a little something about what you liked about the shows?
Yeah, I was pretty unfamiliar with the two of them. I knew the writers. Well, I'd heard of the writers before coming into them, but I was actually unfamiliar with these two specific works. Once I got into, once I read them and investigated them, I found I think the Molière piece is funny, but I enjoy laughing, and I know this sounds terrible, excuse me. I enjoy laughing, but especially at humans. I think we have a tendency of being silly from time to time, and I like any piece that is able to point that out, especially because, in the end, it all works out, and I think I just ruined the ending, but, but, it's all based on love, and, that's the point of a farce, is we're all silly, but in the end, we'll be okay. As far as Aria da Capo, which I was completely unfamiliar with, I'm quite amazed by that piece. I think it's extremely well written. I think it's very smart. I'm surprised more people haven't at least looked into doing it. And that one, again, it ties a lot to The Flying Doctor. It discusses human folly, perhaps in a not so comical way. But it's no less powerful, and I actually like the way the two pieces complement each other. I think they came together very well, and I didn't expect it upon first read, but like I said, with enough passion and adaptability and intelligence with the cast, we were able to pull together a pretty tight and meaningful show, I think. So yeah, I'm proud of that. So
Thank you, Austin.
thank you.
Opening Friday are classic one-act plays, Aria da Capo and The Flying Doctor, directed by Austin Savage. Shows continue through February 23rd. Shows are at 7:30 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, and at 2:30 p.m. Sundays at KIDS-N-CO Performance Theater. Tickets are $5 and $7, and they are available at the door. Now I am welcoming Jim Lupercio and Paige Hale, the director and writer of Alice in Neverland. So with auditions coming up Saturday, February 1st and Tuesday, February 4th, what are you looking for?
Really what I'm looking for is people who can not only bring about the characterizations that we're so familiar with in the Disney films. I'm also looking for people with something of their own to bring to the part, because even though this is Alice in Wonderland and the characters from Peter Pan, I want it to be different from just those stories, because in the end, with everything that happens within the show, they do end up changed into the characters that we know, if that makes any sense.
So how do you think actors will be able to prepare to take a role for the audition?
Watch Alice in Wonderland, the Disney version, and familiarize yourself with Peter Pan, and everything that Neverland represents. But yeah, the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland is what it more closely follows, because it's what's more familiar to everyone, because the book is a lot different than the Disney version.
And are there any tips that you have for actors who are gonna audition?
I would have to say, come in guns blazing. Do not hold anything back when you're on stage. Be fearless when you're reading up on the stage. It is going to be a cold reading, so be prepared for anything that we throw at you. Keep an open ear for any notes that we give you. We will be more than likely giving notes at auditions to see if people are going to be seeing if the actors are able to take direction, and be ready to work with anyone, because this is going to be a very ensemble piece.
And grow down. In Peter Pan is all about growing up, and so for the auditions, grow down, be childish. I personally want to be able to see anyone that auditions as the child they are, or the child inside that to be very childish. Personally, I think that's what I'm looking for.
So what is it that made you want to write this?
It was just really random that it was, oh, what show should I do next? And then Alice, my sister Alice, who the show is kind of based after, was just like, Alice in Neverland! And then we were just all like, huh. And we started thinking about it, and then we were like, okay. And then, yeah, we went and organized a bin for
It was more, she was like, Jim! Alice in Neverland! And I was like, okay, we'll do Alice in Wonder. No, Jim, listen!
Yeah.
Neverland.
Because he was, yeah, when she said Neverland, he was just like, okay, we'll do Alice in Wonderland. And we were like, no! Neverland!
And like, I don't know what happened. I was just like, oh, that's brilliant!
So yeah, it was after that we decided that Peter and Alice should meet.
So what was the hardest part of writing it?
Getting me to focus.
Getting help. I wrote it mostly by myself, but with a lot of help from Alice and then with help from Jim. Getting us to all kind of just focus on what we were doing and actually get progress done was probably the hardest part.
So was there like a difference in the characters, or was there a different personality at this time?
Well, what the main story is about is Alice coming to Neverland. And when she comes to Neverland, Peter's a very different child at this point.
Not
The personality,
really.
he's the same, but he becomes a gentleman.
Yeah, it's because what it is we watched Peter Pan, and then we found all of these things that, like, when you watch Peter Pan, Wendy teaches him about mothers and teaches him about, like, other things like that. But he already knows manners. He already knows how to dance. He already knows about love. She reminds him what it feels like to be in love. And so I figured was, what if Alice is the one that taught him all of those things? So yeah, when she first drops into Neverland, he doesn't know anything about manners. And he doesn't know
Anything about women.
how to be nice to girls or anything like that. And those are the things that Alice teaches him. And so it's what makes Peter Wendy's Peter.
And there's actually a little bit of a surprise for, any fans of either story at the very end.
Can you give a little hint on what it is, or do you want to keep it a secret?
Prequel/sequel. That's it. That's all you get.
It's a sequel to Alice in Wonderland, but a prequel to Peter Pan. Yeah, it happens in between. And it's really funny because the Disney movies came out sequentially that same way. Alice in Wonderland came out in 1951, Peter Pan in 1953.
Happy accidents.
Yeah.
Thank you for the interview and the information on the upcoming show. Auditions for Alice in Neverland are set for 3 p.m. on Saturday, February 1st, and 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, February 4th, at the KIDS-N-CO Performance and Education Theater. Show dates are March 21st to April 13th. KIDS-N-CO will also be having show choir classes, which are being taught by well-known El Paso theater teacher and musician Cody Ritchie. Show choir will be Mondays from 6:30 to 7:45 p.m. Classes start February 3rd and continue through April 14th. To enroll, call 351-1455. Thank you. This is Eli Moreno from another episode of Que Paso KIDS-N-CO. Good night.